North Carolina real estate agents, this one is for you, my friends. When do you use an addendum to a contract versus an amendment to the contract? I'm Tiffany Weber. I am a North Carolina real estate attorney in Mooresville at Thomas & Weber. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about the difference between an amendment and an addendum. A really simple way to remember it is that in an addendum, you are adding to the existing terms of a contract. So you're not altering what's in the main contract, you just need to add a few things in that weren't already discussed. An amendment is different than that. It's when you're taking the terms of the contract that have already been agreed to and you're changing them. So add is addendum, change is amendment. I have some examples of common addendums that are used in North Carolina to the standard offer to purchase. And because they're so common, the North Carolina Bar Association and the North Carolina Association of Realtors have already made these forms. So they're kind of handy at a real estate agent's disposal to use with the contract. So for example, if you have an FHA or VA financing addendum, so if there are special conditions around those types of loans, there's a form that you can already use. So you're adding new terms because it's already not part of the main contract. Or if you have, let's say, doing seller financing, there's a special addendum for that because the terms of seller financing are not already included in the standard offer to purchase. So really anything that you need to tack on. The standard offer to purchase is very robust. It covers most situations, but not every situation. And seller financing is not that common, so it doesn't need to be included in the main contract. So you would just tack on that addendum. Now, not every addendum is already written, so not every situation is accounted for. So the offer to purchase gives you a space to say, hey, here, list out any other attorney drafted addenda that you're gonna use with this contract. So if there was an appraisal addendum, so you're gonna waive needing an appraisal, or in the past couple years, these have been popular, if you're gonna use an escalation to try to beat the other offers, that would be an addendum because you're not putting that in the main contract. That's just not something that's used in the standard offer to purchase. So you would have to get an attorney to draft that as an addendum to the contract. Now, when would you use an amendment? The easiest example of when to use an amendment versus an addendum is you've signed the contract, you said, I'm going to pay $500,000 for this house, and then something happens, let's say you find some issue with the house and the seller agrees to knock some money off of the purchase price or give you some seller paid closing costs or something like that that changes the money that's already been agreed to. If you're changing the purchase price, you need an amendment. If you're changing the amount of earnest money or you're adding seller paid closing costs, you need an amendment to the contract. So basically anything that alters something that was already agreed to. If you're changing the closing date, you need an amendment. Those are the types of things that you will use an amendment for and not an addendum. So sometimes an agent will call our office and say, I need an addendum to the contract. We were going to close on July 1st. Now we're going to close on July 10th. We know what they mean, and we're not going to say, we're not going to give you a hard time about that because we know what you're trying to accomplish. But you meant amendment and not addendum. So people tend to use them interchangeably, but they're not the same. What else should I say? Hopefully that explained the difference of when you use an amendment and an addendum. We have lots more videos talking about real estate law, explanations of the North Carolina contract. So if you want to learn more about those things, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.